Whilst we remain standing, permit me to invite the Principal Secretary for Parliamentary Affairs to lead us in a word of prayer.
Let's pray. Mighty and everlasting Father, glory and honor belongs to you this morning. We thank you for the gift of life that you've given to all of us. Thank you for the gift of a good nation, and thank you for the blessings that you've given to us. Mighty Father, this morning we recognize that good governance and sound legislation are the critical pillars of a nation. Father, as His Excellency the President assent to this bill,
Excellency the President, Your Excellency the Prime Cabinet Secretary, the leadership of Parliament as led by the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honorable Attorney General, Cabinet Secretaries present, Secretary to the Cabinet, Principal Secretaries present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Your Excellency, sir, this state ceremony is convened pursuant to Article 115 of the Constitution to accord presidential assent to 8 National Assembly bills. Sir, the first bill to receive presidential assent is the National Land Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 43 of 2023. This bill is resubmitted following Parliament's consideration and assimilation of Your Excellency's recommendation on the bill earlier submitted, pursuant to Article 115, 1B of the Constitution. The bill seeks to amend the National Land Commission Act by repealing Section 15 pursuant to Article 67, 2E of the Constitution, which mandates the Commission to initiate, receive, admit, and investigate any historical land injustices, complaint, and recommend an appropriate redress. Your Excellency, the second bill awaiting your presidential assent is the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2022. The primary objective of this bill is to amend Section 12 of the Principal Act and provide the requisite procedure to be followed by the Registrar for registration of public land allocated to a public or institution by the Commission. Your Excellency, sir, the Wildlife Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2023, has also been submitted for assent. This bill is resubmitted following Parliament's consideration and assimilation of Your Excellency's recommendation on the bill earlier submitted, pursuant to Article 115, 1B of the Constitution. The objective of this bill is to amend Section 18 of the Wildlife Conservation and Management Act and putting in place the mechanism for constituting a Community Wildlife Conservation Compensation Committee looking into claims relating to injury, death, or any form of loss or damage occasioned by marine wildlife species, namely the shark, stonefish, whale, and stingray, as specified under Part A of the 3rd Schedule of the Act. Your Excellency, the next bill is a Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 41 of 2024. The bill seeks to provide a regulatory framework combating unlawful activities, inappropriate sexual content of minors, terrorism or religious extremism, and cultism, amongst other forms of cybercrimes, thereby advancing the gains made by the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Amendment Act. Your Excellency, the 5th bill is the National Police Service Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2024. The objective of the National Police Service Commission Amendment Act is to provide police officers with mental health and wellness resources, including counseling, and in every county, establish well-equipped centers in offices, camps, training colleges, and communities for police officers to receive psychosocial support. Your Excellency, sir, the next is an Air Passenger Service Charge Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 35 of 2025. The bill is amended to introduce the Air Passenger Service Charge on the air tickets on both local and international air travelers, and further to align with the state corporation reforms by transitioning tourism promotion to the Tourism Fund. Your Excellency, a seventh bill, the Virtual Assent Services Providers Bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 of 2025, is before you for assent. The purpose of this bill is to provide for the legal framework to license and regulate the activities of virtual asset service providers for connected purposes. The eighth and final bill, Your Excellency, is the Privatization Bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2025. The main objective of the bill is to provide a regulatory framework for the privatization of public entities, to establish the privatization authority, and to comply with a court order that declared its predecessor as null and void. Your Excellency, sir, with the National Assembly having dutifully discharged their legislative mandate, it is now my distinct honor and high privilege to petition Your Excellency as the head of state and government to graciously exercise the powers conferred upon you under Article 115 of the Constitution and assent to these 8 bills. With your kind permission, sir, I seek your indulgence to invite the Clerk of the National Assembly to present the vellum copies of the bills for your consideration and assent.
Your Excellency, I have the instructions of the Speaker of the National Assembly to place before you 8 vellum copies of bills for your assent. The first one, Your Excellency, is the National Land Commission Amendment Bill, which is a bill sponsored by the member for Kilifi North, the Honorable Owen Bayer, who is also the Deputy Leader of the Majority Party in the National Assembly. The bill is a short one, Your Excellency, which is coming before you for a second time. The first time, Your Excellency, it came, you required that the National Assembly does amend the bill further to accord properly with Article 67 of the Constitution. The bill, Your Excellency, is proposing that the National Land Commission looks further into and investigates on its own motion or after being moved by any person on complaints relating to historical land injustices. The National Assembly has given the Commission a window of 5 years within which to conclude those investigations, Your Excellency. The bill was initially introduced in the National Assembly in August 2023 and passed later this year in March. And the reconsideration which was done, Your Excellency, fully accommodating your reservations, was done in September, Your Excellency. The second bill, Your Excellency, to come before you is a Land Amendment Bill, which is a bill sponsored by the distinguished member for Ruiru, the Honorable Simon Kingara. The bill, Your Excellency, was first introduced in the National Assembly in September 2023 and has been passed by both houses of Parliament with amendments. The bill, Your Excellency, is proposing that whenever any party, any developer, any individual alienates land for public use whenever they are developing, that land the title of it should be made in the name of that public entity. Where the entity is not yet registered, the bill requires that the title shall be registered in the name of the CS National Treasury. And in case of county governments, the title shall be registered in the relevant county government. The bill, Your Excellency, has been passed by both houses. The third bill, Your Excellency, which I'm placing before you under the instructions of the Speaker for your assent, is another bill also proposed by a private member, the member for Lamu East, the Honorable Captain Mohammed Rueda Obo. Your Excellency, this bill is coming to your table a second time. The first time, Your Excellency, you required the National Assembly to amend the bill further to bring certain expertise into the realm of determining the compensations. This bill, Your Excellency, was first introduced again in 2023 and has walked through the National Assembly for quite a long time. It is proposing to include sharks, stonefish, whale, and stingray among wildlife species in respect of which victims may be compensated for injury or death occasioned by injury. Your Excellency, the 4 aquatic species will now join the list of 8 animals in the schedule for compensation. Hitherto, this bill, Your Excellency, our people who live along our water bodies felt that they were initially discriminated because compensation only covered those of us who live in the inland. And now everyone is covered. Your Excellency, the 4th bill to be placed before you is another bill proposed by an individual member. It's a bill sponsored by a member for Wajir East, the Honorable Dawood Mohammed. The Honorable Dawood, Your Excellency, is proposing to amend the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Amendment Act, Your Excellency, so as to prohibit the use of electronic mediums to promote unlawful activities, including terrorism, religious extremism. While moving the bill, Your Excellency, the member was also of the view, and indeed he amended the bill further, to indicate that any persons who use computers or modern technology to exploit our children, including matters of child pornography, will be brought before the law, Your Excellency. The bill also provides that the court may additionally order the removal of such unlawful content, closure of or deactivation of the computer system, website, or digital device upon conviction of the offender. Your Excellency, the next bill to be placed before you is the National Police Service Commission Amendment Bill. That is the 5th bill today, Your Excellency, to be placed before you, coming from a private member. That particular bill is sponsored by the member for Suna West, the Honorable Peter Masara. The object of the bill is to provide for the mental wellness and mental well-being of our police officers, primarily through the establishment of psychosocial support centers. The bill recognizes that our disciplined forces in the police go through a lot of pressure and that their work involves a lot of risks. It therefore requires the National Police Service Commission to establish psychosocial support centers throughout the country for purposes of supporting our disciplined forces working in the police sector. It also requires the Commission to also extend that service to the civilians who work with the police. The bill was initially introduced in the National Assembly in 2023 and passed with amendments on the 25th September 2025. It requires a commission to ensure that the support units for psychosocial support are established in each county police headquarters to make the services reasonably available and accessible to our police officers. Your Excellency, the next bill is a bill sponsored by the leader of the majority party and the member for Kikuyu constituency. That bill is the Air Passenger Service Charge Amendment Bill 2025. The bill, Your Excellency, emanated from the Cabinet, particularly the decision of the Cabinet to merge the Tourist Promotion Fund and the Tourism Fund, as one entity. It was felt, Your Excellency, that those two entities are conducting similar and cross-purpose mandates, and that there is need to consolidate government resources into one entity. The charge and the levy in it, Your Excellency, is not anything new. It is not a new charge or levy that is introduced by Parliament, but rather what Parliament has done is to consolidate the resources from the Tourism Promotion Fund into the Tourism Fund. And the idea, Your Excellency, is that after the consolidation, there are those programs, projects, or initiatives that are aimed at promoting tourism that require injection of capital in a consolidated manner. The bill will also ensure that any excesses that were there before, primarily because of the two entities operating together, will now become a thing of the past after the transition mechanism. That particular bill, Your Excellency, was introduced in the National Assembly sometime in July, went through the motions, including public participation, and passed last month, Your Excellency. It's a short bill, Your Excellency, with only two clauses, given that the only thing it is doing is to move funds from one entity to the other. With the coming into force of this bill, Your Excellency, and the amendment of the Air Passenger Service Act, CAP 475, now the Tourism Promotion Fund will become a beneficiary of the Air Passenger Service Charge instead of Tourism Fund. And the proceeds therein can be consolidated towards projects aimed at promotion of tourism and related purposes. The seventh bill, Your Excellency, to be placed before you this morning for your assent, is a Virtual Asset Service Providers Bill. That's another bill, Your Excellency, that has been proposed and sponsored by the leader of the majority party on behalf of the executive. The bill was initially published on 17th of March this year and passed on 7th of October 2025. It will be recalled, Your Excellency, that our nation had been grey-listed by entities that deal with financial regulatory nationally, that is a Financial Action Task Force, because of presence of virtual asset players who are largely unregulated. Your Excellency, with the introduction of this bill, that will now become a thing of the past. The bill mandates the central bank, together with the Capital Markets Authority, with a joint mandate of regulating and licensing players in virtual asset industry. This, Your Excellency, was a discussion between the central bank, the players themselves, and the capital markets, because of the expertise that is found in these two public institutions. Therefore, it also establishes a structured, transparent, and enforceable regulatory framework which is designed to ensure that virtual asset activities being practiced in Kenya or from Kenya are conducted in compliance with standards on financial integrity, consumer protection, and anti-money laundering obligations. It provides for licensing of virtual asset providers engaged in activities such as custodial wallet services, virtual asset exchange, trading services, tokenization of real-world assets, payment gateways, brokerage, initial coin offerings, so that all those entities, Your Excellency, will now be licensed and regulated by the Central Bank and Capital Markets Authority. The law also requires that those licensees must also have physical offices in the Republic of Kenya, and that when they're engaging in those services, they must do so within the four corners of integrity. The last bill, Your Excellency, to be placed before you today for your assent is a privatization bill. This is another bill, Your Excellency, that is sponsored by the leader of the majority party on behalf of the executive. The bill, Your Excellency, responds to the decision of High Court, which nullified the Privatization Act 2023, largely for what the court said was exclusion of Parliament, exclusion of the National Assembly in approval of privatization proposals. The bill, Your Excellency, having been reintroduced, went through public participation and has also responded to the concerns of the court and part of the public with respect to the role of Parliament in approving privatization. The bill, Your Excellency, has distinguished between original privatization and dilution of shares in entities which are already privatized or listed in the stock exchange. It gives roles to the Cabinet Secretary, gives roles also to the National Assembly, which are supposed to act within a specified period. The bill sets out methods of privatization, including initial public offers of shares, sale of shares by public tender, sales resulting from exercise of preemptive rights. It also provides for dispute resolution by the authority, and where any person or any entity feels aggrieved, the bill provides that those persons or entities may appeal before the High Court. That, Your Excellency, is the 8th bill placed before you for your assent today. The bill also, in its transition, provides that any ongoing privatization under the repealed law shall be determined and done in accordance with the new law once you are sent to it, Your Excellency, and the new law is published. I now seek your leave, Your Excellency, to end my commission for the day at this point. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk.
With Your Excellency's assent, these 8 bills have acquired the full legal force and become a part of the body of the laws of the Republic of Kenya. Your Excellency, as we draw this ceremony to a close, may I most graciously invite you to present a signed copy of the Act to His Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary. If it pleases you, sir, you may also kindly present copies to the Attorney General for publication into law, to the Cabinet Secretaries for Interior and National Administration, for Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development, Tourism and Wildlife, and Information, Communication and the Digital Economy, and also to the representative of the National Treasury for implementation. Your Excellency, you may also graciously present ceremonial copies of the Act to the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Leader of the Majority Party in the National Assembly, and all other members of parliament present, and all esteemed state officials in attendance. In conclusion, Your Excellency, will unveil and display an open copy of the Act, while other state officials shall bear closed copies. This marks the end of our state evocation ceremony. I thank you, Your Excellency.